welcome everybody to this edition of Changemakers at Geetham. And we're very happy to have with us somebody who is a true hero and a real inspiration to so many of us. Sharad Kumar recently won the bronze at the Tokyo Paralympics in the T42 high jump category and has overcome many challenges and obstacles to reach this amazing goal. Sharad, in fact, was paralyzed in his left leg when he was a child. When he was just 2 years old, he was administered a spurious polio vaccine. And look where he is today. He's also a double Asian Para Games high jump champion, as well as a world silver medalist. Sharad studied at Delhi's Modern School. He went on to study at Kirorimal College and then at JNU, where he's done a master's in international relations. So he's actually quite a versatile young man. Sharad Kumar, thank you so much for being our change maker this month at Geetham. It's so nice to see you, Sharad.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a privilege for me to be at such a nice program.
Well, Sharad, thanks so much for coming, and we're particularly thankful because you just had a health scare. You tweeted about how you've come out of the hospital, in fact, only yesterday. So I hope everything is okay now.
Yeah, I actually left the hospital, but actually asked the doctor that, I need to do this particular show. And he was like, are you sure? I said, yeah, this is one. I've canceled most of it, but this one I want to go ahead with. So I've taken off and I'll go back on Monday or Tuesday and see what are my reports. And the doctors will take choices out of it. And then we'll do that.
Well, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. And we hope that whatever it is, you're better soon. Let's just go back to the Paralympics, Sharad, for a minute. You actually almost pulled out of that final jump because of a knee problem, though ultimately you did take part. What happened?
Actually, it's been a very weird situation for me. See, like I was training in Ukraine for the 5 years. But in the last 3 months, when due to COVID, the situation really got into all of us athletes. For me, I had to come back to India, wait for my trials. The trials are getting postponed because of uncertainties and all the lockdowns happening. So we had to just make up things. And in that, I don't know, my body tended to react differently. And that's when I realized that things were getting worse for me. I was in the peak of my performance at one moment, and then later my body started deteriorating. That's what the doctors also said, that this is not just a new thing that just happened to you. And in that same way, injury after injury. Before going to Tokyo, I was having fever. And then when I was in Ukraine, when I was in Tokyo, I was thinking like, I'm going to break the world record 2 days prior to the event. And just one night before, just going for a warm-up session, and then I jump on my meniscus and I tear it, and I get like scared that I'm not supposed to jump anymore. Even my coach, we all very anxious, like I don't think we should be doing anything of it. But luckily, like I don't know, see, the Paralympic Games is more than just a sports arena for me. Like even when I went to 2016 Rio, it is homecoming actually. It's like when we athletes, we physically challenge people, ultimately we realize that there is one space which we all share. It's such that nobody's going to judge you, and nobody's going to look at your deformity as a bizarre or something, because everybody's got something at the other and they all have a similar struggle, similar faces. Like in India, I just mentioned to most of the people, I wear a trouser and I roam around everywhere, and even I tend to balance my walking when I'm walking actually in India. But when I'm in the Paralympic village or the games, I don't tend to care about anything. I'm just like, wear a half short, just go with a slipper. I don't mind about my deformities or anything. And that's what the game is for me. And then as I got injured, it taught me the main thing that, Sharad, you are changing your perception of the game. You want to win a medal. That's not how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to, like, what was the idea of it? You want to feel this space. You want to understand how different world it is here. Just go and participate and just perform an art. Like, like my coach always says that you guys are the best artists, because see, it's normal for people to jump high jump with 2 legs and 2 hands properly, but you guys are doing it 1 leg, and everybody's in auspicious, like they're looking at it and they're like, wow, this is amazing. You guys are an artist. Go and perform the art. And that's when I entered the arena. I was like, I'm going to just perform myself and just be grateful. And the stadium had so much of positivity inside as we entered in. I literally wanted to cry because of the positivity inside there.
But how did you overcome the pain? You were in physical pain. So how did you overcome that? And I believe that you also, you broke down that previous night. You didn't know whether you could participate or not.
I broke down really bad. I was crying. I talked to my parents, to my brother and sister on a video call, and I was like, you know what, this is weird. Like nothing is happening right for me. Whenever I'm prepared for the best, it just goes worse at the last time. And that's when like I carried the religious book too with me, and that's when I was like, my dad told, just read it. And I was like, initially he was the one who used to say that don't read it right now, it's not the time for you, maybe there'll be a lot of things that will be wanting to disturb your mind. I read through it, and then I realized that yeah, there is a different thing to understand about what we are supposed to do as human beings, and as at least a person who's supposed to perform a certain task or a duty. So that's what I read. But the pain was such. See, I knew that I have to jump 6 times. I calculated my height, that these are the heights I need to jump on. Six. I was like, okay, let's just break it, go through it all thoroughly, and just jump. So I had to get into anesthetic mode. I was like, okay, this is one jump, take it a jump. So after jumping, I was running to my place and just sitting down and taking care of my knee. So actually, what happens, I realized one thing: at a big event, your body tend to start producing such chemicals that even the pain is lowered down. I think that was happening to me because I really wanted to perform there. And after entering that place, which was so, so positive, I was just trying to just distract myself from the pain and just understand, okay, this is jump happening.
But it wasn't, you had your own injury, you had to overcome that. And then when you actually had to do the final jump, it was also pouring with rain at that time. So it's like everything,
Well,
suddenly, everything was going wrong technically, right?
every,
So what was going through your mind at that time with the rain coming down and your knee hurting and all of this?
that's what I was trying to see. Like always, there is something happening for me in the last moment. But I'll tell you, there is something good that happened too. I feel like I wasn't supposed to participate. Then I got a bronze medal. All the jumps which I did, all six of them, it wasn't me doing. It was zero technique which I performed. It was just my body just going on its own. I did not make any effort. That's when I realized that when you train for 5 years, continuous and just monotonous, your body tends to perform irrespective to what your mind wants. It's just a natural habit or a body memory. So that was happening to me there. It was just performing. And I was like, wow, it's happening on its own. I don't have to do anything. And then I went and told coach, like usually he says, high jump is effortless. And when you injure yourself, means you're trying to do something wrong. And that's when I realized that, okay, coach, today for the first time in an injury also, the jumps were just going through without any effort from me. He was like, this is real high jump. That's how it is.
So, I mean, I guess you've been asked this question a lot since winning the medal, but what does that moment feel like when you realize that you've won a medal for your country? It must be so overwhelming.
Uh, Actually, it was a long, long wait for me because I am in Paralympics from 2008 and now it's like 2021. All my colleagues, all my counterparts, all of them have won medals. In 2012, Girisha won. In 2016, Mariappan and Varun. So I have been with all of them. And now in 2021, it was much needed for me because this speaks a lot what I was doing. See, people did not believe in the stunt which I was going to do in Ukraine. Everybody thought that, this guy is just a young age guy, is going to go there and just go crazy out there. Nobody believed it. But, top sports authority of India, they had one faith in me. There was a person named Commander Sir. He had total faith in me. He was like, you want to train for 4 years, you want to give it all right, just go there and train with discipline. And that's what happened there. And when I see that 4 year 5 years, and then I relate it to the situation right now, I think a bronze is also a gold. Like what happens when we realize that going abroad and training and you see the athletes are just going to perform, but first 6 months is easy to live outside. 7 months, okay. 1 year, okay. But if you're doing that for 5 years, it gets into your nerve. You go through a lot of things. I was going through anxiety. I'm going through depression. I was being all by myself and seeing other athletes in my country getting so much of commercial, so much of opportunities coming for them. And of course, I would compare myself. It's not a thing that I would say that, I wouldn't compare. Of course, I would compare myself with the others and seeing that they're doing so well. And me at one place in one room, just doing monotonous training and getting back for 5 years. It was just getting into me.
So, how
And it was
do
like,
you overcome that? How do you overcome that kind of anxiety, being by yourself? Was it your family talking to them that helped you, or or something else?
I wouldn't say that, because family and all, when you're far away, it doesn't, the call also at one point becomes very irritating. You know what happens? Like, I'm speaking things out really in such a way that you don't want to hear to somebody, anybody. You feel like, okay, you can call me from there and say this is normal, this is all this is supposed to happen. But as a person who's individual all by themselves alone there, who's not understanding, no friends because they don't speak in English, and everybody, like, Ukraine is such that nobody speaks in English, like everybody speaks Russian. So I tried my best to learn that, but Russian is very, very difficult to learn in the first like 3 years time. But then I tried. I was like, you know what? Let's just put this goal, which I gave. See, Sharad, usually whatever I do, I just have to fulfill it. This is what if I give a commitment, I want to do it. It's something like that. Be it my education, be it sports, any of the stunts. So I was like, I promised myself I don't want to prove myself wrong, because my coach told me that, you want to be here for 3 months only and you'll be like, okay, Sharad, I want to go back. I don't like it here, like the other athletes. I wanted to prove him wrong too. That, you know what, I wanted to be here till Tokyo. I am here. I won it, and this is how we are going to end it. Not in the way that, I'm bored and I just want to go. That's how I try to do it. So the medal actually is, we most of us athletes think that, it's a medal that is the end result. But I think Abhinav Bindra, Nicolo, these guys, they put it rightfully that it is not the medal that is actually the athlete's real thing. It is that 5 years of journey that decides you. Sometimes you might just go to the podium, but that is not the real finish you feel excited about, because there's so many things in that 5 years happening, that they all have so much things into your mind and body, that other even a medal podium doesn't come to that close also sometimes. So
That's well put. That's
for
really,
me,
really well put, that's it's not just about medals, it's the journey, as you said.
yeah, so here the medal were like, okay, and I was excited, but really the other medals in my life, like the Asian Games or World Championship, they were more exciting to me, because it was free, like, just go on, train with, rejoice, and just feel the game, and it was fun. But here it had become so much that it became stretched out. It's just stretched out. And
In what
this,
way? Is it because of the COVID restrictions? Is that what made it more difficult in Tokyo?
a year more added for for the sports postponed, like how the Paralympics got postponed. Yeah. So in that, it just added. And I was like, after 3 years, it was like, now I just want this to be over. Yeah, just go home. All my friends are getting married. All of them are making money. Everybody's being set. And what am I? I'm all by myself alone here. So it came to such a stun. And every day was like all by myself, doing the dishes, doing the training, doing everything. It was just me. And he
That's
didn't
tough.
have anybody there. And I tried to do everything. TV became my best friend for a while. I tried to learn the language. That also didn't work out for me. Then I tried to
And
read
at
a
least
lot.
how to say hello or something?
Pardon?
Did you learn how to say hello or
Yeah, I
something?
can speak like Russian now, I think,
Like,
quite well. Yeah.
so like if you had to say hello, how are you? What would you say?
Привет, как дела?
Oh, not bad. Okay, I don't know what you said, but I'm assuming it was hello. How are you?
Yeah. So
That's pretty cool, Sharad. But let me ask you this. Obviously, you are somebody who has overcome difficulties and challenges from a very young age. It began with the spurious polio vaccine that was given to you as a young child. How did you firstly, how did your family deal with that, and you personally as a child?
as a 2-year-old, I didn't know what was happening. By the time I became 4, my father sent me to Darjeeling. He was like, Shab, I can't afford things. Like, he didn't tell me this, but basically later I found out that how could you send your kids to a boarding school at such a young age? And then he was like, I didn't have a place for you guys. I didn't have a home. I didn't have food to give to you guys. My location was not fixed at one place. I didn't want to take you everywhere. So I realized one thing, that my father, not being educated or anything, but he just knew one thing, that he's going to educate his kids. And especially because his boss was like a very educated man, and he sent his son to Darjeeling to study, and he used to see them, like how they were speaking English and how smart they were. So he told his boss that, I want to educate my kids too. So you pay for them and just send them there. I will work hard and I'll pay the money to you. So I asked him that then he's like, this is what was supposed to happen. Because see, you might be in the villages, and especially where my place is, it's in Muzaffarpur, Motipur, where my father said that I was worried that, the environment is such that you might get into trouble. it is such that people just start doing mischievous things. I didn't want you to end up in jail or anything like that. That was his main intention. So he told that you'll have a confined boundary in a boarding. You'll be there and you'll be safe there. You'll be provided with food. You'll be taught well. So he sent us to Darjeeling, and then that's how we all went. And best part in Darjeeling was that St.
Us
Paul's.
was, us was your brother also?
Yeah, well, my brother and my sister, my younger sister too.
Okay. So all
So
of you went to the same school.
no, no. So my one was all boys boarding. It was St. Paul's School, Darjeeling, and my sister was in Dr. Graham's homes in Kalimpong, which is Darjeeling itself.
Okay.
So there, the best part about the school was that they did not make me feel anything different. They just said one thing, irrespective to your family background or your financial status, it doesn't matter. You have to perform yourself to show what you are. And if you're good, you reach good. If you're not, nobody talks about it. So every student was just in a race to prove themselves that how good you are. So I was quite well at cricket and table tennis. I was there in this team for all the things. And athletics came later when my brother was an athletics champion himself. So he was a high jumper, and then I broke all his records. So that was one best part about that school. That it, and also another thing was like you have to perform all the event sports. You were given like, okay, 6 hours of education, and the other 4 hours you have to do sports, irrespective you like the event or don't like. You better stand on the field and you stay on your, like in a cricket, you just stay on that position, but you go to the field, you participate there. That was it. You go bat, you can't hit the ball, no problem, you get out, but just go to the field. It was such a thing. So I think these were the things that I had. I think it was quite easy right for me because my friends in that place did not make me feel anything like that.
That's
But when,
great. So, but then what made you decide to take up high jumping? I mean, you would never think that someone with, your, issue with your leg, etc. And you said your brother was into high jumping. So was he the inspiration for you to do this, to try this?
yeah, actually, when I used to go home, I used to have a storybook which I used to get for spellwell competitions. I used to come second in that, and I used to go with that to show my father. And my brother used to have loads of certificates, and I used to be like, "Wow, this guy is getting all the attention from parents too." So I was like, "Okay." So I read in a book by Matthew Syed. He says that sibling rivalries are one of the best ways to get the Olympic stars. Most of the Olympians who are at podiums, when they have sibling rivalries, they perform too well.
Oh,
And
I didn't know that. That's
I
interesting.
totally agree to it. Like even Matthew Side was a table tennis player, and his brother was a table tennis player, and he excelled. He went to the podium. So that's I actually related that how my brother was good in it, and I had to prove him wrong, and I wanted to do better than him.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
So that's how it came to. And high jump was something I don't know. I was just destined to it. Like usually we all have a like we have to go for dinner, lunch, and everything. We have to stay in a line. So I used to be the guy who used to pick up the rod and put it down, and someone used to jump over and fall. The rod used to fall. I used to pick it up and put it back. That was my restriction. So basically, what happened? All the athletes had to perform. Like all the students had to go for athletics or marathon. But I was put under restriction that Sharad is not allowed to do it. So I used to be the one putting the bar all the time there. At one afternoon, all these guys were going for lunch. The bar was put at a good height. Nobody crossed it. I was like, I think I just take an attempt on it. I jumped over it, and I told my friends,
Did it?
I did it, and none of them believed it. I went to my brother. I said, Shalaz, I actually jumped over it. He's like, are you sure? I said, yeah. Then he said, why don't you take in the house activities? Take part in this in a week. There's a finals. I went on to win that. I actually went on to win the school record. I broke the school record that year. I see some people say you have to be hardworking, but I think at a certain age, I think it just something that just comes and makes you win things, and then you excel. You take it from there.
So that's amazing. I mean, uh, tell us then, how did it become something that you decided that you would pursue, in order to participate professionally? I mean, it's one thing to do something as a hobby, but it's another thing, that you make it a goal in your mind. Okay, that I'm going to pursue this. I want to win medals. I want to compete. So at what age did you decide that this was something you wanted to do?
So actually, to get into modern school, Delhi University, it is very difficult with marks. Okay, like to get good marks, like a nice. But I was a backbencher first. I had to be in the back benches, and like that's it. And then I was like, how do I make it to these universities? These are the best, and I want to be the best for sure. Even there at the backbench, no problem. So another shortest way I felt was like sports. Okay, let's do sports. maybe this will give me an entry to these universities or these institutions. And modern school was like quite a popular. My friend, his name was Amir Azam. He was a topper in St. Paul's School in ICSE. He got admission into modern school Barakama, and I was like, so this guy went to the best one, I think. So I need to get there too. So let's take it in a professional sports manner.
And how old were you when you finally did enter modern school?
I was 17, 18.
Okay,
Yes,
so for your class 12.
yeah, for 11, 12. So
11.
that's when I went in there, and I realized that sports was a shortcut. Not I didn't take sports as a shortcut to get job or fame or wealth or nothing. It was to get into good institutions, because see, ultimately my father wanted only one thing, that अच्छे institution में पढ़ाई करना. I don't know how he wanted to do that. So he told him, however, you just get into these institutions. So I was like, all right, let's just take sports as my part. And then slowly, everything just started coming. Someone told me about Paralympics in Darjeeling. My teacher, Mr. Dennis, he told me that, just why don't you try for Paralympics? There's something for you guys to there. I came to Delhi, I checked on it. Things were very bad that time. In Paralympics, I wouldn't actually go to take the competition. Like, it was so, I used to feel miserable. I used to feel, no, I cannot be like that. Actually, I also started accepting my disability very late, to be very true. I was hiding it from myself. I was not wanting to be part of that space. I would feel ashamed of it. That was how it was. Like when we used to go for the nationals, I used to see people limping and dragging themselves down. I also used to see that, it's normal, natural thing. And I was like, no, I don't fit here. I don't fit here at all. I'm much better than this and
How
that.
did you overcome that? Just that sort of accepting that, okay, this is, something I have to live with kind of thing.
Because that's when I realized that some realities cannot be changed. Whatever you might want to do, some facial or fake stuffs, anything, faking is not going to take you very long. You'll get caught about it. And that's when I realized that, maybe I have to address this, accept it, and maybe it will become like a armor to me, which will make me shine and something like that. So actually the thing is, when there were people, when I came to Delhi, it was, see, in Darjeeling, I did not see the discrimination happening. There was nothing. But when I came to Delhi, there was a problem. There was.
So I want to talk about that. Are you referring to the bullying that you faced as a teenager? Because you
Actually,
talked about that, and and it's amazing that you have, because you've said that it's important to address this issue of bullying. How did you sort of deal with that? What happened?
the bullying part was in Darjeeling. Like most of us, like in boarding school, everybody wants to show that you're the boss, you're the big guy. And they don't show that by being alone. They come in gangs, groups, they form their own associations and everything. And then they try to say that, just take it over, make you guys do some work and all. But people think that bullying is just a school phase, something which will just end up. But for me, what I'm going through, even now, I shiver. I think about it and I get nightmares. I don't get good sleep because all those guys come in my mind, literally all of them, whoever did it, all of them, not just. And I used to and I called them up. I spoke to one of them. I was like, you know what? You did a very wrong thing, and I don't know how to end this up. You tell me how do I finish this off from my mind, because I feel bad about it. The answers such people give is even worse. They're like, it was just one phase. I said, just imagine someone just did to your kid. He said, my kids will learn from it. What's the problem? I'm like, come on, you cannot give that an answer. I thought I'll call you and I'll feel better about it and we'll sort it out. But then you say, my kids will handle it. They will take care of it. That's not an answer. I was saying that, he'll tell his kids that, don't do all this thing. It has a very adverse effect on people, not just in school, but in later ages too. This is something which, but no, they don't change. I thought bullying, maybe, see, they'll think that it is a mindset. You might grow and mature and then you'll realize that you did the wrong thing. But no, bullies remain bullies all their life.
Wow. And this is something that happened when you were in boarding school. So
Yeah.
where are those people today? Have they tried to?
They're all here and there, and they try to text me now, congratulate me and all.
Oh, acha.
And then I tell them also
So
that,
you had the last laugh.
no, I wouldn't say that. There's no last laugh here. There's no last because
Yeah,
it doesn't
you're the
end.
winner. You're the winner. You overcame it.
It doesn't end.
They're just
I
bullies.
wish the last laugh would be that I wouldn't think about it at all. That would be the last laugh. But just making someone look that you're down, that is not the last laugh for me, for sure. I want to make this problem of mine go away. That would be a last laugh that, okay, everything's fine.
But what are the lessons then that I mean, having gone through something like this, that, as you said, it still bothers you, it's on your mind, it plays on your mind. So what advice do you give to parents or, kids who face this kind of thing in school, even now?
I think there is an issue not just with the kids are not to be blamed who are going through this. It's some teachers who encourage it too. There's some teachers, even the parents at home, they're also teaching the kids at home that some
That this is
domestic
okay.
some domestic things happening at home. You're basically inculcating this in their minds. That's how they're thinking about it. How are they thinking at such a 4, 5, 6? They're in class 7 and they're thinking about bullying someone, beating up someone, trying to make a gang out of it, feeling that it's cool. Some movies are being created on all these things. It's coming to people. They're thinking like that. This is a cool thing. This needs to be addressed, and we need to address it in the universities too, in schools too, where these people see people are talking about issues, gender equality and all that. I agree, but one of the main things are bullying, ragging. It's very, very dangerous. It is not affecting just a woman or a man, it's affecting everybody. Some teachers are also bullied by students for sure, because they feel that they're bigger in size and everything. In the universities, some big guys, they think that they can just talk whatever in the class and just make the fun out of the teachers. That is humiliating. That's also a part of bullying. So these things needs to be addressed very strictly. There should be very stingy, means like very good laws for
Zero
it.
tolerance,
Yeah,
basically.
there should be like very like great punishments for all these things. And most importantly, I think parents and all need to stop discriminating. I feel like that everybody's trying to show a hierarchy, that hum achhe ghar se aate, we are the richer people, we are the poor people, we don't mingle along with these people. These things are there. This has to be addressed everywhere, even in good schools. People don't make friendship with people who are like, oh, from a background, poor background or anything. They don't do that. See, people say, yeah, hum log karte, but no, there is always a boundary there. They are doing that. They don't feel, they want all to have cool friends. And cool friends are what? Who are
Yeah,
doing some mischievous
absolutely.
stuff.
At at what point in your life, Sharad, did you decide that, okay, I'm going to accept that I have this disability, and I'm going to, turn it into something positive rather than, as you said earlier, the word you used was, to feel shame from it. How old were you when that happened? And do you think that once you accepted that sort of changed your whole approach and propelled you into something completely different?
I wouldn't say I have totally accepted it. It would be wrong of me to say that, because I'm still trying to show the difference and try to be behaving like, I'm totally fit and all that. But I'm in the process. I'm literally in a process. And I think this comes with an age, because it's such that people feel in that, this is a weird thing in, like, once my father told me that, why does a person come inside the wedding when they come walk around and like they just blindfold him, take him around the post 4 times. I told him, Dad, why do they do that? He's like, just to check that the boy is not physically challenged. I was like, wow, this needs to be different. This is something wrong. You understand? There's a custom, like in like they go around and just to check that someone is, that they're not lying, that the boy is not fit or he's all okay. And I was like, this is wrong. So all these things were being taught, saying that all these things are negative and bad things, by parents, by friends, by family. See, this was in the younger age also. They saying, "Tum aise biklang ho, aise ho, tumse shaadi kaun karega?" All these things used to come. So what we had to behave there, we had to behave like, we are all fine. We have to be like, just behave that it's not there. That was a way to make us not believe it, that all right, this is not there. But I realized that how long can I do that? Ultimately everybody can see it. Even if I'm trying to fake it, it's not going to make it. That's how it is. All right. So it felt that, okay. And then I started seeing the government giving recognitions to us, like the state governments, the central government. They started treating us quite nicely, making us feel like, what, yeah, there is a problem. They also know that you guys have feel, of course, there is a problem. That's why there is Paralympics and Olympics. Otherwise, you should be just Olympics and everybody competing together. Of course, there's a difference. That's why. And then yet they're treating us the same. That's a big boost to us as an athlete, saying that, what, don't worry about how the world treats you. There will be a way that even you'll be able to sustain yourself in a good way, and maybe you'll
That's
get some. Yeah.
That's important. What was college like? What was KMC like? North Campus, always exciting in Delhi University. So, what was that experience like for you?
Uh, KMC was actually I went just for one final year because Mr.
Wasn't it
Bhimsen.
Amitabh Bachchan's college, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, it was his college only. So that's was the thing. I used to feel privileged about that. I think I'm tall and thin guy. I surely like Amitabh Bachchan. I used to feel that. But the thing is, Mr. Bhimsen Singh was the principal that time, and he was very friendly to us because I was into sports. He used to say, "See, Sharad, all I can do is I'll release you from your classes. You train well." He was very supportive about that. But then I also went through, see, till first, second year, I was going through nicely. But in third year, something wrong happened. I was involved into like made into a doper. I was being called a doper. I was accused into doping. But that was also another bullying. So what happened was I have seen things very closely, like how athletes turn on to athletes, spoil the life of an athlete. So people say, why are you going through anxiety? I said, because I get calls from such places where I don't even expect, and that too for all the negative things which I didn't even do. So like I don't receive any call. My phone is never on loud mode, it's on silent. I don't even see, and if it's from a landline number, I don't answer it at all. I'm so scared that sure, some bad news is coming which I have not, because see, if someone's done something wrong, then you're ready to face the gun. But if you've not done something wrong and you still be penalized and all, I'm not blaming any governance people that this is wrong or what they've done is wrong. But I feel bad here that as a person who's never done anything wrong like in it and got part of was involved with it, got punished for it, these ladder added to my anxiety. It just started adding, thinking that this world is very
This was in
unfair.
your final year of college when this
Yeah,
happened.
yeah. So it is like the world is very unfair that you have to go through certain things which you haven't even done, and nobody believes it. They will say that this guy surely done it because he has a long hair and he's in this. He's quite.
Had long hair at the time.
Yeah, I had long hair. I used to go around like just play around and just have fun. That basically I was enjoying my university life. So they thought, no, no, this guy is just surely going to be like that, and nobody believed it. And that's when I started realizing that life is becoming unfair to me in always. First, I'm being punished. Like I feel like okay, something wrong with my leg. Then again, I'm being charged of something which I have not done, and I have to bear the consequences. Then later, health disease. Then when going outside, the injuries and then the depression, then the anxiety all started building up. And it was such that my friends also, see, I'll tell you, another bullying was like athletes used to call from landline numbers and saying, Sharad, you have tested positive again. I'm like, what? How did that happen? I didn't do anything ever and again. So they say, no, I'm just joking, and they cut the call.
That's not nice.
And then they come on the door. So I said, like, when they take a dope test, I said, "Oh, how do I know if everything is all right?" And they'll say that we'll call on your room or come on your door and knock it, and that's how you'll get to know. Athletes call, cut the phone, call, cut the phone. So if I have my event tomorrow, like about 3 o'clock, whole night they will do something which I will not be able to sleep.
Yeah. No,
So
I mean, you've been through so much, Sharad. And let me ask you though, when it comes to training for something like the Paralympics, or you've taken part in other major tournaments as well. What is it like? I mean, we were speaking to Abhinav Bindra some weeks ago, and he says facilities are much better, but we need to invest so much more. The private sector needs to do more to invest in sports. Do you also feel that way, that our facilities getting better, but are not quite up to the mark? You have to train in the Ukraine. I mean, you should be able to do this at home in India.
uh, no, actually, Ukraine is not very developed as a country, and the
But then
reason
you're going there to train.
I'm
The
going there
coach.
because I feel that athletes need discipline to perform. And when I'm at home, there's so many things that's bothering me. Family, financial condition, everybody's like, there's always something. My friends having some issues, so being very much involved in it. And that's when I realized that no, this is not going to work. So for me to go to Ukraine and train was a totally a discipline that I want to just be in one fixed path. But yes, talking about, I would say that, like people say that, maybe you're talking too much positive about the government. But see, I'll say something that I have gone through. It's all personal, maybe in my life that I've seen. I've seen how things have grown from 2008 to 2021. And I have been one of the first members to be in tops also. So I see like how we as an athlete were not being treated anywhere. Nobody cared what para athletes said. There were still policies where the Olympians were paid higher and the Paralympics were paid low. Nobody entertained us. Like it was such a situation. And now when I see, all right, the government, the central government, I would not say anybody, they come first. They are addressing us so properly. They're sending us with a good sense, see off. They're calling us when you're performing too good. And then they're calling you when to felicitating you as you reach, arrive. And they're getting you all the interviews. They're managing you. They're trying to get you the attention which you deserve. So the government, usually in every other country, it's the private which first empowers the athlete. But it's happening different for us in India, at least for Paralympics for sure, that the central government has empowered us first, making us feel that, we are treating you equally. And this is not for any other context. It is just the truth that we are feeling. So if it was just me saying this, it wouldn't be echoed by 19 other athletes or the 55 other athletes who went for the Paralympic Games too. They all have the similar things. They know that it is just this government that made us feel very, very equal.
You felt wanted, you felt appreciated.
Exactly. This is one thing we felt appreciate. But look at it now. After winning the medal, that's when the private is supposed to come for the athletes. No, it's not happening. It's not happening for any athlete, even the guys who have won gold. It's not happening.
You
I
mean
see.
you mean like endorsements and all of
Yeah,
that?
yeah, it's not happening. People are still, come on, I'm seeing athletes being just called, okay, just come. Just the people are utilizing, the privates are utilizing the athletes, the Paralympic medalists that please come, and they're giving us certificates and all. But they don't realize something, that most of the Paralympic athletes are not from a good family. They need to see, like, now they get a certain financial condition, money they'll get, and they will again see athletes are I think they are very bad in management. They are going to invest the same money for their another future training. They don't know whether the return is going to come or not, but they will do it. Because see, Paralympic, what is sports for the athletes? We are physically challenged people. It is a way to just let time pass and let's not think about your deformities or your troubles. It is basically a time pass thing that, all right, we are keeping our mind busy with something. People think that, we are doing it because, oh, maybe you just want to be, no, we are keeping it because we don't want to think any other things. It will get very depressive. It'll get weird. It'll become like, what, we'll just say, oh, look at that person, he's so all well and
What you all met the prime minister when you came back from Tokyo, and you had a proper sort of meeting with him. What did he say to all of you? What was that like for you?
see, I have met him like a couple of times, and every time he notices. That's the best part about it. When I was in Ukraine, his team used to call up in Ukraine and say, everything is okay, do you need anything there? I can't imagine that. It's not even like, not, I literally cannot believe it, that the prime minister's office actually calls up athlete training outside and saying that, everything's fine, so wanted to know what you need, anything we can convey to the sports ministry. Usually the sports ministry does that, but it's coming from the top there. It just makes you feel like, wow, this is something which is a change. It is the biggest change. And then when we meet him, I when I was meeting him for the first time, it was very exciting for sure. It's always exciting. But now for me, what I'd like to do is, like most of the younger athletes, like they are 18, 17 years old, I tell them, I put them forward, and I want to see their reaction. I don't know, maybe just me who feels like that. And I want to see their reaction. And then I tell them, how did you feel? And then I tell them that, see, you didn't get a medal and all, but now you're meeting the top of the person, like the prime minister of this country. This is going to encourage you to get the next medal. So be sure something good is going to come in your life. That's how I tell them. And I feel like that's how it's going to motivate them too. And I feel it is doing that. It is
That's great.
motivating.
No, that's that. Yeah, as you said, you've seen the change yourself, but since you've been doing this for more than a decade, and therefore your witness and your testimony is there. Sharad, in terms of what you'd like to see change for the training of para athletes, what would your request be? What are the couple of things that you would like to see? I mean, again, I come to the point. You're saying that despite winning medals, people are not getting endorsements, sponsorships. I think that might be a bigger problem, not to just do with Paralympic Games. It might just be with anything that's not cricket, frankly. Is that still an obstacle?
No, no, I think no. Now I'm glad with Neeraj's medal. Things don't look the same. There's gonna be a burst and there's gonna be a sports
Think
revolution.
so?
Yeah,
Or you don't think it's temporary?
No, no, it's not temporary. There's gonna be a sports revolution in the country for sure. If not now, by 2032, we are going to do very, very well. It's not because of the facilities or anything. It's going to be the athletes,
They
the
want
the
to do.
fire in them. Yeah, the fire in them now. It's such that okay, irrespective if this guy has done it, and that too at such a stage where a country never won a silver or a bronze, and that too directly a gold medal, there's a fire there. It's a big fire. So in that, what happens is like we will perform irrespective to whatever happens. The recognition coming or not coming. We have been doing that previously, and we'll continue to do that
But it's
because
nice
I think
to have recognition. It's such an
yeah,
important part of the
yeah.
journey.
But as an athlete, we are seeing that if it comes well and good, if not, we will not leave our task. So our task is basically just perform and try and do, just not as a para athlete, I'm talking about the athlete, that they will keep performing. And I think with more medals coming, it's going to be a better thing. But see, for Paralympics, things look very different, and we don't. We as an athlete, we have to first. I feel we as para athletes have to accept ourselves first. See, like, and usually we as an athlete, para athlete, we think that we are physically challenged, and we are still we haven't accepted ourselves. We are like we wanted to get married to a woman who's totally fit, who's everything okay. Are we still in a stage we say, okay, if she's physically challenged, I have no problem marrying her? We are not in that stage ourselves. We haven't accepted us ourselves first. We are also in that phase that we need to accept us as a para athlete, how the country needs to progress as in the Paralympics. I think we people with disability have to accept our disability. We have to make it our strength. And just not for the purpose of commercial, but
But for
for our
yourself.
own growth, for our own growth. And that growth will be bigger and better than the financial growth. I feel that is what we have to feel.
Well, I mean, those are very, very, deep words, Sharad. And what does one say? Let me ask you a final question then. How do you manage to sort of, uh, stay positive? And how has your life changed after these games? What is different from Sharad's life before the bronze medal to Sharad's life after the bronze medal?
Uh, I would want to say that my life got stuck in a bad way, in the sense like I haven't been given too much and I haven't given too less. It's not such that I'd be afraid to go out so that not many people know me. And I would not be, it's such that I have to maintain myself in such a standard which I might not be able to afford, because people have expectations that this guy is a bronze medalist and he's doing so good. He looks well, he speaks well, and everything is fine. So people have a lot of expectations from me, but I might not be able to live up to that expectations because I don't have certain resources. And of course, the status of celebrity is not so into us that we have been made so big. Nobody knows us. Yes, for 2 3 days people knew us, but after that, no. But when it will come for people to say that, to judging us, they'll say the Paralympic medalist hai, ye kaise kar raha hai yaar? Of course, you have to do something for him also, her also, so that they can live up to that expectations. The
Yeah, well,
government.
that's so well said. But Sharad, I mean, I think I'm a little bit older than you. All I can say is that the only expectations that matter are the ones that you have from yourself and not what other people expect from you. So as long as are happy with your goals and your achievements, you stick to that. And I think you have a really firm head on your
I
shoulders.
want like the para athletes, not I'm not talking about anybody
Yeah.
else. They have hopes that if we win medals, lives will change. Look at this person, look at that. But what if they see that nothing has changed? They will be demotivated. They will not be run. There's certain amount of, excuse me, greed also needed that to perform something extra. But if they realize that after only the government is doing and nobody else coming forward, they will all be a little demotivated. They'll feel like, what, it's just going to be the same irrespective to whatever it was. So I'm not trying to say that I've not seen myself, but if I am a person whom they are looking up to and I'm not being able to motivate them to do something, pursue it, then I'll feel bad that, I did something wrong. Or maybe there's something wrong in the system or something. I feel like that. So I think I want to make the other para athletes feel that, okay, it's worth going all out and training all out to get some changes in life. See, for people who are physically challenged or para athletes, sometimes monetary gain is very important because that is a source of
Of course. And as it
That is
should.
a source of distraction,
Yeah.
and that sometimes it is just needed.
Yeah, of course. If of course it is. And I don't think you realize it, Sharad, but you're actually already quite an inspiration to, I think, your co-athletes, para-athletes, athletes, others. And that's why you're here as our change maker today. So thank you. Thank you for this. Congratulations again for that bronze and for whatever you do in the journey ahead. I wish you the very best of luck, Sharad.